Death and depression. So my uncle passed away today. That is hitting home. Um, I wasn't necessarily that I wasn't that close to my uncle. He lived in Denver. We rarely spoke, although we did have a connection when I was younger. So much so that when he finally had a child, which was quite later in life, um, he named him after me. His son's name's Teddy Freddy. Um, but it's hitting home. This is my mother's brother. She's the last one of her family, and I believe my dad is the last one of his siblings as well. And they're living with me. So I'm confronting mortality every day. It's sad for my uncle, but he's in a better place, I believe. But he had married late in life. He was 50, she was 40, and it didn't go well, and they divorced. Um, he, the words of my mother, he was, um, he had lived at home until he got married in his 50s, so that tells a lot. He's living in his mother's basement. Um, but he was estranged from his son, so I don't think he talked to his son, in between when he went into the hospital, and that was about a year ago, and he passed away. Um, and he didn't talk to his son during that time. It's very sad. Didn't have any family around him, but my brother, I guess he had my brother, who's his nephew, my older brother. I was very proud of my older brother reaching out and taking care of him, and he was his power of attorney. And it's very sad, and I don't want that to happen to anyone. But the story's over, and he was. I suppose it's all perspective. He was very blessed in many ways, and he had wonderful neighbors. He had a home. He had means. So that's good. It makes me think of the people who are, particularly now, it was raining very strong today. About the people who are homeless, whose lives, whose families have been just, their family relationships have just been shattered. They burned so many bridges. But do we still believe that they are, have a divine spark in them, that life has value, and that we should care, and we should care about their fate, even if others overlook them, even if they're the least of these? I think we should, and that's what my life is all about. Well, that's not really what my life is all about. My life is all about that I'm one of them. But somebody saved me, and his name is Jesus, and I'm following him. He's my good shepherd. That's what my life is all about. And so I've embraced his mission, and his mission is to take care of, to love everyone, and especially show that for those who are the outcast, who are the least of these. So in an unrelated note, but maybe it's not so unrelated, my depression broke. I'll say it finally broke, although I don't really know I'm in a depression when I'm in it, but, just lethargic and not feeling good and just wanting to escape and overwhelmed. And what saved me? I think routine. Discipline and routine are very important. Discipline, I, I've, the proof's in the pudding. I played basketball professionally because I had enough discipline to work hard enough to get good enough to do that. So I was always the hardest worker on every team I was on. But I would go about it different ways. Routine, particularly daily routine. I think I have weekly routines, but routine is difficult for me, and I really need it. And today was part of the proof. I mean, Tuesday is the day that I go train with my amazing trainers, Bennett Fit. I love them so much. I go train with them, then I go play basketball, and then I go jump in the ocean. Then I have late night half a burrito snack with my dad, and then we come home, from Santa Cruz. I did it because it was the routine, because I know how well I feel on the other side, but I didn't want to, and I wasn't feeling it, and the last few workouts I haven't felt very well. It's coming out of the sickness was difficult, but workout was really hard, and I think like 3/4 of the way in, I just broke into that place where the dopamine hits, and like, oh, you're so high, you feel so good. And then basketball, I mean, even the basketball has been kind of not so cool, but I mean, cool, but no, I wasn't, I was not really enjoying it. But I went again because it was my routine, and I played really well. I was killing it from outside. I was nailing it. Dominated the guy trying to cover me, but the guy trying to cover me was a good player. Played in college. He's 10 years younger than me. I mean, I'm not really playing against elite players, but then, it's interesting when you play against old players that were elite at one time. Like, they're still elite. They're just not as elite all the time. But they have that button that they can turn on, and he turned it on. He's a great player. It's fun to play against him. So it was great. And by the time I jumped in the ocean, I was already in that place where the cloud of depression I'd been struggling with broke. So that's good. Now tomorrow's a fresh day, and I got to keep pressing in. Those are my thoughts for this evening, and I think they're connected. So, I'm not Catholic. I don't really pray for the dead, but I thank you, God, for the life of Paul, and just release him to you. And I thank you that you had your hand and were with him. But I pray for families, that broken families will be healed. And thank you for lifting the